Support for Ramplifi comes from Victorville Cadillac, offering a selection of new and pre-owned Cadillac vehicles. More information about Victorville Cadillac's latest inventory is available at vvcadillac.com.
This is Ramplify, the podcast at Victor Valley College. Victor Valley College. Victor Valley College.
Hello, this is Ramplify the podcast, brought to you by the Associated Student Body at Victor Valley College. I'm your host, Andrew Caravella, Media Relations Coordinator here at VVC. Thank you for checking us out exclusively through the free VVC mobile app. If you're on the go and listening to the audio version of this show, thank you. Thank you for streaming it on Spotify or iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast app. Now to the episode. According to the Adoption and Foster Care Analysis and Reporting System, government statistics show that as of 2025, this year, nearly 400,000 children are in the U.S. foster care system. Teenagers make up about 20% of that number. And each year, around 20,000 youth age out of the system when they turn 18 or 21. And for many teens in foster care, a lot of them are from minority groups and face challenges like higher rates of homelessness and lower high school graduation rates compared to the general population. Well, okay, what happens when that child has a disability? What does that look like? Now, that might shock you to find out, because between 40 to 47% of children in foster care have an identified disability. And teens with disabilities are more likely to experience placement disruptions, spend longer time in foster care, and are at a higher risk for maltreatment compared to their peers without disabilities. And these kids also face challenges transitioning to adulthood, including lower rates of attending college. Our guest on this episode of Ramplify is in several of those categories. He suffers from cerebral palsy, a condition he'll have to live with for the rest of his life, which bounds him to a wheelchair. And because he was born this way, when he was 14 years old, he was abandoned and given to the foster care system by his own mother. Please welcome to the podcast VVC student Joseph Lopez. Hello.
Man, that was a heck of an introduction, man. I definitely liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I definitely want to say, when it comes to, the breakdown of diagnosis, you really nailed it on the hammer. I'll tell you right now.
Oh, well, thank you. Can I call you J-Lo?
Yeah, sure. That works.
It's Joseph Lopez, right?
Yeah. J-Lo, same thing.
I try. So, hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well.
Good?
Yeah.
Went to class today?
I did. I had a presentation today. I felt like I did really well on it.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get through the semester.
What class was it?
Intercultural communications.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll have to check out and see how you did on that a little later.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
So I want to tell your story. I mean, I've talked a little bit about it just to kind of set up this podcast. Let's just start from cerebral palsy. Yeah. What is that? What is that condition? Tell us about that.
Well, I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I'm kind of still developing what it is. But from my understanding, it's a bone marrow disease that affects the muscle tones and groups in individual. So it could be the limbs, it could be it could be kind of like the posture, and it can also be like involuntary movements, like spasms, things of that nature. Yeah.
Because you're in a wheelchair, do you like your legs? Can you use them at all?
Yeah. So in my case is a very good case. It's mild. In terms of, diagnosis, I probably have the best case scenario because I can feel my legs, I can move my legs, I can feed myself. I do everything myself. I'm very independent. Yeah.
And it's always been like that. It's just you have to use a wheelchair for mobility purposes.
Yes.
Okay. What was that like growing up with the wheelchair?
Man, I could say it was tough to a degree, but I think that, the support group that I had around me with my siblings and whatnot, being a big part of that, I think really shaped me into who I am today.
So first off, how old are you?
I'm 28.
You're 28. Okay.
Yeah.
So growing up, did you always, obviously, you might have felt different, I'm assuming, right? Because you were in a wheelchair. Yeah. I'm sure the majority of your friends did not.
Right.
Any bullying or anything of that nature?
To an extent, yeah. I think that was more in my earlier years, probably like in elementary.
Yeah.
Once I got to middle school and high school, I was old enough to kind of fend for myself, so I knew right from wrong.
What were the challenges having cerebral palsies in school, like as far as studying and getting work done that you had to overcome?
For me, or at least for me, I can't speak for everyone, right? But for myself, I would say being in one position for too long, like being sitting down for too long or something of that nature that could really do a lot on your back, something that I really didn't deal with as a kid, but when I got older, that's when I noticed it a little bit more, Aside from that, though, I mean, nothing else really is an interference to what I do,
The thing when, we were first talking that kind of really took me by surprise is at 14 is when your mom just basically decided to give up on you and just kind of put you into the foster care system. Yeah. Was there a conversation? Was it you just came home one day or woke up and the workers were there to take you? How did it happen?
Well, I mean, if I'm being transparent, I think it was an ongoing situation for a while. I think 14 is when it finally caught up to me, but I think that I was going through it when I was about 8 years old. That's when I really vividly remember CPS being like a factor in my life. Of course, me being 8 years old, I don't know what the heck that is. I'm just trying to understand the situation for what it is. But it was around that time where I was already kind of like experiencing some of the abandonment things, you know what I mean, like symptoms. So I kind of just I had an idea that it was going somewhere. I just didn't know where it was going and why, So fast forward to being taken away and stuff like that. I can't say that it was a shocker, but it really wasn't, because I knew that at some point in time it was going to happen. I just knew that I wasn't ready for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. At 14, though, I mean, a lot of emotions are firing in your, inside you. Sure. Like, were you mad? Were you more sad? Were you scared? Like what was like the main feeling that you were going through when you were taken away from your family?
Yeah, no, I think the main feeling, I wasn't really mad because I didn't understand it at first. I think I was just more scared, because obviously you're going into a whole new environment. Like, I'm away from my family for the first time in forever, I have a twin brother, you know what I mean? And so that was very hard to be separated from him, We were going through it together, though, so I just didn't know at the end of it where we were going to end up. But I knew that we were going through it together, which meant that at some point in time, we would eventually be back together. I just didn't know when.
Okay. And then usually foster care, they try and look for families to, or people in the family to kind of take care of you before they decide to find somebody in the system, a foster family. So aunts, uncles, cousins, I mean, was there anyone?
Nobody in the position to be able to take somebody like me and my brothers on. You know what I mean? So it was very...
So your brother was also put into the foster system.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Your twin brother.
Yes. Yeah. But there was nobody that was in the position to take care of both of us, especially somebody that is disabled, right? Because that comes with a lot of different things and knickknacks that you have to be qualified for. That it's not just overnight,
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, where was your father in all of this?
Well, my father has never really been in the picture, from my understanding of it. I've never seen him till this day. I've had one conversation with him, but that one conversation was enough for me to know, like, this guy is not somebody that needs to be in my life.
You told me that he was also part of the reason why you have cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So, just to give you kind of a synopsis, my biological father, he was very abusive to my mother. He would oftentimes hit her a lot, and to make matters worse, he was also an alcoholic too on top of that. So multiple factors played into this, circumstance. All that could have been avoided, I think. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm here now, I'm living, and I'm good, but that was the primary reason as to why.
Were you and your brother able to stay together in the system?
No, actually, we were placed. He was actually placed up here first before I was. I was actually placed.
Wait, you say here? So you?
I'm sorry.
Where'd you come from?
Okay. So I came from San Bernardino County initially.
Okay.
When CPS initially was a thing. But I'm from LA. Does that make sense? I was born in LA.
So did you go from LA to San Bernardino, or did they stick you somewhere else first?
So no, I was I went from LA to San Bernardino throughout my life, and then in San Bernardino is where I got taken, right?
Okay.
And then so when I got placed in San Diego, but he got placed up here in the high desert.
Okay. And how long were you in San Diego for?
I was in San Diego for about a year.
And then they put you somewhere else?
Right. Yeah, because the initial process was I was going to go there and I was going to initially get adopted. They wanted to adopt me, the foster family there. But they didn't want to take my brother. I had a brother with my twin. They didn't want to take him, and I had a sister as well in the system as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they were like, we can't take all of you guys. So it wasn't going to work. So the backup plan to that was, okay, well, you come up here. and his foster mom would have taken me in at that point, but then she never did.
When you got up here, when was it? Like, how long were you in the system before you were actually placed up here in the high desert?
I was probably about, because I wasn't in San Diego for long, and I had another placement in Chino, and I wasn't there for long either.
Okay.
So I probably came up here at like 16, 17.
So you were already in the system for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And then when you got up here, did they put you with another family?
No, I was actually in a group home.
In a group home.
In a
Was
group
that
home.
was that because they couldn't find anybody because of
Right.
your disability?
Yeah, so there was,
Wow.
the whole purpose of me coming up here was to be reunified with my brother, again, living with the foster mom, but that never happened because she never took the classes to be able to take me in. So then they left me in a group home in Apple Valley, and that's kind of where my journey began.
So you were about 17.
Yeah.
How long were you there for?
Oh man, too long. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Definitely too long. I think it was from like 17 to 21, something of that
18,
nature.
19, 20.
Yeah.
I got to do math. 20.
Yeah.
So about 4 years.
Yeah, something like probably longer, honestly.
Yeah. What was that like for you?
That's kind of where the fun begins. I like to say, it's kind of where I experienced
I'm assuming
a lot.
you mean that sarcastically.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Just check.
Yeah,
Because I don't know if living in a group home is fun,
Right.
but
Well,
yeah,
I mean-
tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, for starters, I was kind of like displaced. Obviously, like I was in a group home that had people that were like on medications and had different diagnoses and all this stuff, and it's all men. It was a group of like 7 men.
It was a men's
what I mean?
home,
And,
okay, yeah.
in all one home, and I was definitely misplaced in that regard because I didn't have half of those like problems that they did. Still respected them, still love them, and you still care for them to this day. But I just knew I didn't belong there. However, going through that process, though, I've seen a lot, right? Because I don't know if you're familiar with group homes or how they work or anything of that nature.
In my time as a news journalist, I've read stories, most of them not good.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I could imagine.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have to have a heart for it. You have to have a stomach for it too. You see a lot, and I think in my personal perspective of it, I think I just seen a lot of what not to do, and I've seen what money can do to power hungry people, if that makes sense. I mean, I guess it's all said and done now, but I think there was one point in time where I really saw that people would go through any lengths just to get more money out of the situation.
Did you feel, based on the statistics that I was throwing at you here earlier at the audience, do you feel that you were kind of neglected more so in a group home setting?
Oh, yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah.
I think that came with like just the at the owner's expense, right? Because that person didn't really take the initiative to care, you know what I'm saying, for what was going on. Even when being told what was going on, didn't even bat an eye to like change it or to see anything different.
Being in it for so long, though, what was the thing you were holding on to keep going?
And I just knew there was something better for me. I knew that my story would eventually be something that would be able to help people, get through certain situations.
Do you think being closer to your brother, since you were like basically in the same neck of the woods, neighbor, here's right down the street,
right.
No, being in the same town as him, that kind of gave you a little more light, like, he's close by. I just got to do this a little longer.
Yeah, I just kept that goal in mind at the forefront. That was the end goal. That was the mission that I was trying to complete. So I knew that as long as I stuck it out, I would be able to foresee that.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take a brief time out here with Joseph Lopez on Ramplify the podcast. And when we return, we'll talk a little bit about his challenges and his experiences since coming to the college. So keep it locked. We'll be right back. Support for Ramplify comes from Victorville Cadillac, offering new and pre-owned Cadillac vehicles with financing options, including pre-approval available. More information about Victorville Cadillac's latest inventory is at vvcadillac.com.
This is Ramplify the podcast at Victor Valley College. Victor Valley College. Victor Valley College.
Hello, welcome back. Once again, you are listening to Ramplify the podcast, brought to you by the Associated Student Body here at VVC, aka Victor Valley College. I'm your host, Andrew Caravella, Media Relations Coordinator here at VVC. Thanks again for checking us out exclusively through the free VVC mobile app. And if you're on the go and listening to the audio version of the show, thanks for streaming on whatever you're listening on, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Still here with me, Joseph Lopez. Joseph grew up with cerebral palsy. He was thrown in the foster care system when he was 14 years old, and he came out he came out on top.
Yeah.
Right, you're
Yeah.
28 years old, almost 30.
Man, don't say that out loud.
Any plans?
Just to keep going.
Just keep going?
Follow. Like,
You're not going to go to Vegas or something cool?
No, I don't care for that. Man.
Okay,
It's not my lifestyle.
That's not what he's about.
No,
okay,
no.
very cool. Well, hey, I want to talk now about kind of your time here at Victor Valley College.
Yeah.
You are in a program called Access
I am.
here, which is a very popular program.
Right.
What is Access, and how do you qualify to be a part of that program?
Yeah, so Access is a tool that you can utilize as a person with a disability to be able to get extra accommodations for whatever it is that you need help with. Whether it's extra time on a test, whether it's flashcards, whether it's a note taker, things of that nature. Just things that will make your, college experience a little bit more easier.
That's very neat that we have such a program like that on campus that kind of gives you a little more time so you're not being clocked on anything.
Yeah.
I for one, I suck at test.
Yeah.
Like, I just like if you get rid of the time part of test, I could probably ace everything. But yeah, time's not my thing. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So when did you first start coming to Victor Valley College? How old were you?
Yeah, so I believe I was I was fresh out of high school.
Okay.
Oh no, I was still going to high school. I'm sorry, I was 17.
Oh, so you took some classes while you're okay. Very cool.
Yeah, and that was a mistake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why is that too much on your plate?
I did. I put too much on my plate. Yeah.
All right. So you came back to it. You're here now.
Yep.
Any idea what you're majoring in?
Yeah. So right now, it's as it stands, pursuing a medical assistant degree.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how you liking that?
I don't like it as much as I did when I first started, if I'm being honest with you. But we're going to keep on going.
That's right. You're locked in right now. You're going to
yeah.
finish it. That's good. Medical assistant. I think you were telling me when we were talking, off mic, that you're an advocate in some capacity.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I got two programs going on. I got one here at VVC, which is called NextUp. They're a program that is dedicated to helping people that have been affected by the system find the better alternative in terms of what to do after you get out, and to help you get your degree in whatever it is that you want to do, essentially, as long as it's within VVC guidelines.
Okay, right? And what's the other one that you do?
The other one is called the She Ready Foundation, which is similar to what this program is here.
Wait, She Ready?
Yeah.
Isn't that Tiffany Haddish?
Yes. Yeah.
From the comedian She Ready. I love her. That's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's really cool.
So you're an advocate for her organization?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So it's kind of the same thing as NextUp a little bit, just on a bigger scale, I guess. Tiffany Haddish was also somebody who was affected by the system, and so she decided to design a program to be able to help kids, figure out what they're gonna do with their life, once they get out the system. And she has multiple resources. I think she also has like a leadership program that kind of helps you figure out different scholarship programs and things of that nature as well as multiple resources in terms of like if you need housing or if you need things to carry your luggage in, because once you're in the system, bro, you be carrying that thing everywhere, it's crazy. But so it's kind of just more or less what she does.
So here at the college, what are some of the things that, because you've been here for a little bit, so you kind of know how it works here.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you admire or you appreciate, when it comes to the staff and you becoming successful in your education?
Are we talking as a whole or are we talking like in a specific program?
You could do both.
Okay.
As a whole and then maybe in a program.
As a whole, I would say that VVC is definitely one of the places where they really want you to do the best you can, but you got to be willing to put the work in. As long as you put the work in, they're willing to help you get to wherever you need to get to. You know what I mean? And I've definitely seen that in multiple programs that I've been a part of. And like you said, Access was one of them. And being NextUp is also another one. I've never had a bad experience per se with the individual or circumstance. You know what I mean? It's always been very on the up and up. I don't know if that answers your question, but
it does.
Yeah.
It does. So now that you've grown out of the system,
sure,
right? And you're kind of independent and on your own. You reconnected with your brother.
I did.
What was that like?
That was interesting, man. It was interesting because I had seen him periodically, throughout the time of me being in the system, but we never were really able to touch bases on a personal level because of all the interference outside of it. So actually having that first sit down and that initial conversation was a little bit weird, because we had been apart for so long. But I think now, we're building the stepping stones needed to be able to, go further.
All right, very cool. Does he take classes here too?
No, he did though. He did. Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
that's awesome. As far as the family situation, if I can pry a little,
Sure.
Have you reached out to your mom or your family in any capacity? Like, where are you with that now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hold any animosity towards my mom because I understand it now, right? I had to go through a lot of therapy and things of that nature to get to this point. But because I've been through that, because I've worked through it, I'm able to see it more clear. And so I reached out to my mom, to kind of try to reconcile a little bit. And let's just say it didn't go anywhere, but that's okay. I'm okay with that, because I had that at the back of my mind, like, this is a hit or miss. You know what I mean? It could either go or it could stay, and it stayed. So you know what? Like, at the end of the day, she's still my mom, and I'm still going to care for her to a degree, but just at arm's length. It's more like an auntie, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Not the first person you invite to Thanksgiving.
Right,
is what I'm
right.
saying.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I have people like that in my family, so I feel you on that.
Sure.
So moving forward then, like, what's the goal now? Once you complete VVC and you move on from here, like, what are your aspirations? What are your goals? What do you want to do next, Joseph?
The biggest thing I think, more than anything, and I don't mean to be religious in any sense of the word, but I just keep God at the forefront of whatever you do. You know what I mean? And everything, whatever you're meant to do, you're going to do. But do it at the highest level. Do it at the highest level and don't look back. You're going to have a lot of situations where you got to make choices. And there's no such thing as a bad choice because there's always a lesson to be learned from every choice. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Asking me if it makes sense.
No, for sure.
Of course it makes sense.
I just want to make sure you follow me.
Yeah.
But in terms of what I want to do, man, I'm just going to go wherever the Lord takes me, man. If I do more stuff like this, I'll be more than happy. You know what I mean?
That's why Vegas isn't happening, right?
No.
Yeah,
I got too much on my plate, Yeah.
That's cool. Hobbies. What do you do? Like, what do you do when you're not a student or not an advocate? Like, what does J-Lo do on his downtime?
It might sound crazy, but I do something like this, a little bit of something like this. I have my own podcast called Anything Goes with Joe. Yeah.
Wait, what is it called?
Anything Goes with Joe.
Anything Goes with Joe. We're gonna go listen to that after you leave today.
1,000%. That would fuel me to make more episodes, so that'd be perfect.
What do you talk about on your podcast?
Yeah, so it's a podcast dedicated to people with disabilities, and it gives them the opportunity to find a different outlook on what it is that they're going through, right? Because it's not what you go through, it's how you go through it. It's your perspective of it, right? So that's my job. My job is to change their perspective and opinions of people with disabilities, right? So giving them the platform to talk about whatever it is that they want to talk about, as well as shedding light on what it is that I struggle with as a person with a disability.
That's so cool. That's so awesome that you're doing that. See? You're using your voice for good. That's amazing.
Yeah. So so on top of that, I do that on the side, and also do the She Ready and the NextUp as well. But I also do Twitch. I'm a streamer.
You're a gamer?
As well. Yeah, I'm a gamer. Yeah,
what are your favorite games to play?
Oh man, I'm more of a sports guy. I like to play Madden, 2K, MLB, things of that nature.
Okay. I'm just strictly Grand Theft Auto.
There you go. I play that too. Yeah.
I usually use it to get out my stress and anxiety.
Sure,
because there's things you can do in that game you can't really do in real life.
Right. But we shouldn't adopt those habits.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So, yes, all my anxiety and all my stress in life, it's like, you know what? I'm going through a lot. Time to fire up Grand Theft Auto today on the Xbox or the PlayStation. So. Yeah. But good for you for using like sports as an outlet on the video games. Yeah. I'm not really good at that. I'm not a team player.
I actually tried wheelchair hockey, man, and that was kind of crazy.
Wait, wheelchair hockey?
Wheelchair hockey is a thing, yeah.
Like a video game or in real life?
No, in real life, yeah.
What is that like?
It was, so you're basically, you know what a dolly is, yes? I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
So it's a dolly, but without the wheels, the big wheels that come with it. And you're basically just on these little, like, wagon wheels going around the ice, and I got hit a couple times, and I knew it wasn't for me. You know what I mean? I was definitely more on the ice than anything. So
that's hilarious.
I knew I had to step away from that.
So wait, what is it called again? I got to write that down.
It's called wheelchair hockey.
Wheelchair hockey.
Yeah,
we're gonna YouTube that after we listen to his podcast.
There's a team in Anaheim called the Ducks or something like that.
The Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, or Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of the movie. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. Yeah, so that's where I kind of found out about it, and so I tried the LA Kings facility. They have like a minor league type of thing.
Yeah,
and that was kind of crazy, but I never went back. I was like, no, it's too much. I'm already disabled,
You have some great spirits,
Yeah.
considering your situation and what you've been through and your struggles and challenges that you're overcoming all the time. Like you have some really up spirits. So what is it for you? Like what, if anyone's listening that's been down on their luck, may have a similar situation to you where, they have a disability of some kind, or maybe they had gone through the foster care system with their own traumas and stuff. What is it with you that keeps you so bright, or looking on the bright side of things, being optimistic?
Yeah.
Like where does that come from? Where do you pull that from?
I'd be lying if I told you I knew. I really don't know, to be honest with you. I think it was just one of those things where when you know you're destined to do something, you have a higher calling, you kind of got to just follow that and see where the heck it takes you, And to be honest with you, I said this earlier, but I think it bears repeating, is like, you gotta keep God at the forefront, bro, because you can't do it all yourself. Like, yes, you have to put the legwork in at the end of the day, but it doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen by yourself. I think that's the biggest takeaway that you can get from all of this, is that it does get better in your journey. It starts with you, you know what I mean? And it ends with you, more importantly, You control your destination, and you might not have control over current circumstances, but you do control the way that you look at it. And, there's always a way better outcome if you just keep holding on.
That's awesome. You mentioned legwork. I wasn't sure if you were serious or if that was a joke. You're kind of a jokester too.
Not the literal legwork, but you get the gist.
I get it.
In the physical
That's
sense.
awesome, man. This is great.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to thank everyone for checking us out exclusively through the free VVC mobile app. If you're on the go and listening to the audio version of the show, thank you for streaming on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast app. Thanks for listening. Before we go, Joseph, any last words you want to leave with any VVC students or the community at large?
I just want to thank you personally for giving me the opportunity to do something like this. I really do appreciate that. That really doesn't go unnoticed.
You're welcome.
We've talked back and forth multiple times, and we try to get something like this going. So I'm so happy that it finally happened. And I can't say this without saying this, man, is shout out to Cass, man. Shout out to Cassandra, man. She really kind of was the one who kind of put this together. She pushed me to reach out to you to make this happen. So this really only happened because of her, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
I don't script these people. That was all his testimony.
I'm just saying, yeah, man.
All right, very cool. I'm Andrew Caravella. We'll see you next time. Later.
Ramplifi, the podcast, is filmed and recorded in Victorville, California. This podcast is made possible with the support of the Associate Student Body of Victor Valley College. The views and opinions expressed in this production are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Victor Valley College or its affiliates. Ramplified is hosted by Andrew Caravella and produced by Robert A. Swool. The production crew includes officers of the Associate Student Body for the 2025-2026 academic year. Ramplified Season 2 gives special thanks to our sponsors, Victorville Cadillac, VVC's Welding Department, Joe and Sydney Monty, and Jacobo Vincecara. Podcast audio distribution made possible by KVVB Television. Additional sponsorship made possible through Lowe's Home Improvement in Victorville. I'm Social Science Senator Seth Cabello. For more information about this podcast, please contact info@vvc.edu.
Support for Ramplify comes from Victorville Cadillac, offering new and pre-owned Cadillac vehicles with financing options, including pre-approval available. More information about Victorville Cadillac's latest inventory is at vvcadillac.com.